I'm so sorry about that, but hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience getting a license, basically. So I don't know how many years it's been of me trying to get a license, but I think it's been almost 2 years, because I kept taking breaks. I really kept taking breaks, and it ended up accumulating to a whole 2 years. And now that I think about it, it's a little embarrassing, if you ask me. But yeah, guys, the first thing that I want to say before I start this video, before I get into details, is that I am pleading with you. If you are a young girl or boy, you just finished Form 5, do yourself a favor and get into getting your license as soon as you can. Do yourself a favor and start as soon as you can and as soon as possible. Something I noticed, and I noticed it very late, was after finishing university, I just looked up and I found that I was the only one without a license. Can you imagine? The whole time you think that you're all in this together, you look up and you find that you're the only one without a license. It is not cute and it is not nice. So I really encourage you to just do it as soon as you can. Hello, it's a Form 5 or when you're in your first year. Just get it over and done with. Because like I said, you'll graduate university and you will look up and you'll be the only one without a license. Also, although sometimes it seems like they're not putting it as a very necessary requirement, it really is. It is one of those things that will boost your CV. It really is. I remember when I first got to the job that I'm working at the moment, my boss was highly turned off at the fact that I didn't have a license, although he did still end up choosing me anyway. Hopefully when I go thing, it's not one of those things where they end up deciding to not hire you altogether just because you don't have a license. But do it as soon as you can. It's not nice. Don't do it. I love what you're listening to this right now and you're like, yeah, she's right, I should definitely jump on this, but I'll do it next year. I'm telling you right now to not do it next year. Driving school. Anyway, let me get into the video. I'm done lecturing you guys. I hope you good. I hope good. Let us continue. The most important thing that I personally think, with my experience with all of this, is it's not only about your ability and your learning capabilities and how much you tell yourself, okay, fine, it's okay that I made this mistake. Tomorrow will be another day, I'll do better. It's not only about that. I think it's also important, the driving school that you choose in itself is also very important. How local driving school in patient day, when it's time for you to go and book and all of that, then it'll honestly also affect license, and it'll just affect the whole process. So now personally, with my experience, it honestly is just not only about you and the patience that you have with yourself and your ability to try again. It's not only about that. The driving school you choose is also very important. So in my personal experience with this whole thing, I've been to a total of three different driving schools. It was that one, and then it was that other guy, and then it was that guy. Actually 4, I'm lying, it was 4. So it was one driving school, it was this other driving school, it's by Difleta, and then that guy ended up switching on Nela, this other guy, some young guy, And then one day that guy I can't remember. Then I call that other old man. And then when we that man was just extremely rude, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this with you. Then I ended up finding another driving school, Kako Apsa Mo CBD, and that is the driving school I went to and graduated from. If it's even a thing, we'll graduate I'm driving school. So the driving school yone graduated is by ABSA. It's called Happy Souls Driving School. You know, you never know the name of driving school until we're testing. That's when you're like, what is this driving school called again? Because there's a form where you actually write down the name of the driving school. I had never known until right testing. I was like, what name? Anyway, whatever. So good driving school, I think there were two different guys, and I used both of them interchangeably, and they are both such amazing, patient, kind, helpful individuals. The owner as well is a very, very amazing and kind individual as well. So I genuinely recommend them. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. So get in a go bone le gore next it's ke ditsa matshwao ka re ke di pale. I think next it's that third guy, the one that I said that day one ya go as we know, there are three different parts: ke matshwao, dikoni, or also known as dibale, and tsela. So let's get into the first part, which is matshwao. Matshwao, I did them a total of 2 times. I did them twice. The first time, did I get like 23? The first time I got 23. I think the first matshwao niki dirile go fairgrounds. I remember I was just there, I was like, what's going on? Oh, one matshwao, I think out of the 3 tests, I think for me personally, it's the hardest part. And I'm going to tell you why. Matshwao a thata ka gore bukele a bonele e go bediwa matshwao mo one ya bora. Bukele ya bora. Ebile nna ha ke se ke ba le bukele. I remember I skimmed through it, but for the most part in studying for matshwao ke badile ka, there was this app that I got, I think from one of the driving school guys. They gave me so I'd go through the questions. I think some app that I used to revise as well. So that's what I used. Personally, I learn and study well dipoto and the test question and answers. So that is what I used to study for matshwao. Bugel, I just couldn't read it. I just couldn't keep on a for hours. I couldn't do it. So I went to fairgrounds testing center. I went and I did matshwao. I scored 23, I think. The second time I got tested matshwao, and we were just, I don't know, we did what had to be done, and I passed matshwao, I think 27 or something like that. I remember I was shit scared. I was like, so dibale also did them twice. The first time I think it was the side park. Was it side parking? I think I don't know that. I don't know if maybe somebody would say, another person would say that for them dibale was the hardest part, but for me I wouldn't say it is, because although it's a little bit different from what you're used to go driving school in the format and the placement is a little bit different from what you're used to at your driving school. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. The only part that I would say that I wish the driving school would emphasize more or would help us out with more is kanya slope. I remember when I first discovered it when I go testing yadibale. Lotolane literally ke ha le roroma yana mo clutching le roroma koloi itimile kana ke ga 4. At that point I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fail. But because I feel like I said go side picking. Side I can yeah side because I feel like I said go side picking, but I wanna this slope thing where or kopane slope hela go netlana go dipaleng go testing ya di cone is honestly whack, and I wish that they'd emphasize it more. Harele gone go driving school. So although granted most driving schools don't have any like high platform where they could practice us, but I think they should do something about that. I'm just like, why wasn't I orientated whatever word about this before? Because you've been here a lot of times. Getting some bullet in advance that this is what I'm to expect. I can't understand it, and I'm telling you guys now so that you know and that you can give your driving school instructors shit about this. Kana go eleng gore ke na kwa go ya go a dipaleng le ba bolelle gore motho a mo di ke itse gore go pele kwa go na le slope ya nke go ba gore mo practice nyana 2 minutes. But anyway, whatever. The other thing that they don't tell you about test dipale is that there's a surprise there's a surprise parking, is if I can call it that. When I lay picking it is a diagonal yana. They don't tell you about it. And you're like, I never did this for driving school, what am I gonna do? But it's not that deep. And I think the reason why they don't tell you about it is that it's literally not that deep. And then you come out and voila, you're done. But yeah, those are the few things that you're to expect go testing the weird, the surprise yana slope if you haven't done slope before, and the surprise diagonal parking. Is diagonal the right word? I hope you guys understand. But yeah, like I said, for me, Dibale went the worst part. The first time I failed, the second time I passed. Thank God I passed. Then we moved on to the final part, which was the what's it called, the DILLA. So after Gisinago Basadi Koni, I ended up going to China, and I was kind of like worried expire so much that when I come back I'm gonna have to start from scratch. I was like, damn, a whole month all that trauma. I was kind of stressed. I was able to find Matsuhana Sanzasiame, meaning that it was just for me to practice DILLA for about a month, a month and a half, and then go to and test the DILLA. Yeah, DILLA, sorry. So what kept happening was that the thing, and then a lockdown would happen, and then when after lockdown new dates would have to be allocated, inspection inside the driving school, I don't know, and it was just a lot until finally my driving school instructor was like, girl, we finally got you the date, but what I need to tell you is that the date is a dealing thing hella at the moment, it's a system incha. I'm like, what? System incha? Like orayang system. And then he was like, girl, also with this new system you don't get to practice, but consider the whole thing where you get to practice first and you just go in. I'm like, what? I'm just going in. Hey, but I think more than anything I was just like, you know what, Dipale, Matsuhao, I've both done them and I failed, or when even this, if I fail it, I won't be surprised. It's okay. I'll do it again and hopefully I'll pass afterwards. So I wasn't really that nervous because I was like, I've already experienced failure. Like failure is so saying what source at the moment when it comes to this whole driving school thing. So I get there that morning. I'm there minding my own business, trying to calm myself down with a good book, and then the driving guy, the guy who owns Ame Samba Tomotselling is like, hey, Aratsame Mayana. I'm like, okay. I'm like, damn. Will I really even be able to drive this brand new car when like it's he's like, if you know how to drive, you can drive this car. I'm like, okay. He's like, I give you sepe when I read koloi halali instruction. So basically, what happens with this car is that it just basically just navigates you. It just tells you where to go, where to turn, and all of that. So this new car, 10 left there, 10 right, the cycle, do this, do that, do that. So for the most part, it was okay. I mean, there was a point where I changed the gears wrong. I fucked up a little bit more. The car told me to turn here, but in my head I was like, does it mean get and the guy was like, how? And then I was like, oh, okay, and then I turned. But yeah, for the most part it wasn't horrible. The guy did tell me about how he was scared he was gonna die though, but I was like, are you always this scared with everybody, or was it just me? And he was like, nah, with everybody. But I felt like he meant that it was just me. But anyway, we get back to the testing center and the guy tells me, he signs the paper or whatever, and he tells me, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Oh, I was like, ish, okay. Already because of the whole experience. I go up, they now print out my paper, and immediately when my paper comes up, the guy is like, "Eish, failed." I'm like, okay, don't have to be dramatic about it, but okay, give me my paper. The guy then asks me where I'm from. The other guy asks me where I'm from, and he tells me, "Hey, come I'm like, okay, fine. It's up and running. I go downstairs, saw that same guy, and then I take my paper and then I go. Just a little bit of the information that was on the paper, and then I'm like, okay, fine. When I get back to the office, they ask me, I'm like, I failed. The other people that I told I'm going to the test asking me, I'm like, I failed. I go to my driving school, they ask me, fast forward, this was like on a Tuesday. Fast forward to, I think, Friday or Saturday. My driving school, the owner of the driving school texts me. He's like, how did you do late back? I'm like, no, let me look for the conversation. So the guy who at driving school texts me at like 5 p.m. on a Saturday. I'm chilling. Hey, this is not going to get yo, on a Saturday, I was home. Anyway, he texts me on 5 p.m. at 5 p.m. on a Saturday. He's like, yo, what's up? I'm like, hi, what's up, Noring? He's like, hey, I just wanted to know what we did later. And I'm like, it's late, it's at 77. He's like, 77 is a pass. I'm like a mencha. He's like, go send this in a bag one. Guys, when I tell you that the paper, how good I'm passed and failed, particular part they are passed. I'm like, then I proceed to read the print. Please note, you are given a total of 100 points at the start of the test. You fail the test if you score less than 70 points. I'm like, hey lang. Immediately, timing, and immediately I call that guy. I'm like, hey la, Untitled. What capacity? He's like, what was it 77 again? Opacity. Come on, I get out. I love it. License Monday. He's like, it's a back. So the guy lives like 2 neighborhoods from my house. He's like, I go to the house and then he like removes the other because there was like a lot of papers. And he gives me the important ones. What give us a license? I'm like, I'm like, I'm telling this guy about the story about how everybody at the center was telling me that gefeitse. And next is in my head I was like, this, like, I'm used to failure. It's fine, gefeitse, it's fine. I was over it. I was just over it. I was like, okay, it's okay. It's not that deep, gefeitse. He told. So when that guy tells me gefeitse, I'm like, serious. And I call my friends, and nobody can believe it, but at the same time they believe it because it's me. I mean, I didn't say hello. They always have a story. I always have a story. So I was like, damn. I'm like, gents, you ain't gonna see me in the morning because what? I have a license. They're like, congrats, girl. I go in the morning, I go, what's this place called? The fairgrounds, transport. Guys, I think at like 7. So, they're given a maximum of 100 people that they're able to assist per day. So I think it'll way past the 100. So at that point, they're calling out names, so the waiting cards. But the number, one by one, the numbers. So now I don't give some because I'm going to be here forever. There are a few names say longer but basa to the spots. So I'm like, Barbara, if you don't go now, Barbara. So I stood there trying to psych myself out to do this. I'm there. I'm like, Barbara. So finally I'm like, and then I come back. I'm like, hey, they had the same sort of initials as I did. So I was like, I need to play on this or else I'm gonna get played. So I'm like, I even forgot Lina Lamutha thing. Let's just say we are Boni Muedi. Yes, I know this is a horrible example, but let's say Boni Muedi. Let's add an example. So the Babamolai and there are 2 people by Longore are absent in the line. So I'm like, hey, I'm gay 67. We're not 60 man, we're not 60 man. Bampola lebekere, hey, I'm none 65 fake body weight. Oh, okay. Luckily, Ness what have a dingal. If a band singer, if a genna, if a hachamal. I was like, yeah, I did this. So the whole time as line as I'm like, oh, I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that nobody calls me out. Finally, and I'm the place, more transport, and do the eye test. I got some eye testing. The system down, like a suit, well, I'm there like, hell no, not after the day I've had. Until system board. Finally they come and they address us mechanic the electrician and 20 minutes ahead. So the tires is go di facility tse ding go transporting tse ding. I was so frustrated. I left there so fucking frustrated. The next day I'm like, you know what, I need to go to transport there, go Meraki, but I also need to get there earlier than I did today. So I think I got go transport that Meraki like about to 7 or 6. Was it? Yeah, something like that. I get there and tell me why I was number 70 something or 80 something Mulisti. I was like, there's nobody here. Why am I not? Can I make a number, man? Was it number 30 something or 40, 50, somewhere there? And I look around and there's nobody there. So apparently what these people do is that bat like about 12 ebe ba itlhela pampiri kana motho itlela ka pampiri a gago e ba kwala leina la gago mo listing e ba ba gone ho kore people come and they write down their names and then they go home and then they come ka bo 7 or 8 nako e go ka go bulang and then they're like, yep, that's my name. So I was so shocked. Me I did like at least I'm below 100. I'm within the 100. So I'm there but this summer again hoping that I don't hear the system down black shit or anything like that. So at some point ra khaogangwa go tsengwa batho ba segang ka hale ba ileng ka 8 watcha, 9 watcha, 10 watcha, 11 watcha. I'm like, I wonder if I don't get assisted in the next hour. This driver's license at some other center, maybe out of town, because this is exhausting. Finally, line after some lady who I had to video ebe ira announcement ngana a re nyamo go dueleng ne go tlhaela batho, but you know what, na ka sebele ke tsamaya ka go duedisa. Finally ya no line ya tsamaya. Upon getting in there, it literally took me 10 minutes go ira sengwe le sengwe, paying, then picture, then print. I was like, I don't understand why it's been taking so long before this moment. But anyway, it is what it is. Finally get my license, the picture cute thing, and I was like, peace out. I was so excited. Such a beautiful license, such a beautiful day, morning. So yeah, now this is the part that I really want to tell you guys about. That was about 2 months ago, I guess, since I got my license. Not fortunately for me, the company I work for, and there are a lot of errands that we run during the week, so there's some driving that happens here and there, and sometimes you go out alone, sometimes you go out with one of your colleagues or whatever. And also, like about a month ago, we had like a trip where we went to Zabong, of which I was fortunate enough to drive some of the destination. So in terms of experience, since getting my license, I have a bit of experience driving, automatic that is. Because I don't know, I'm not sure if I was given a manual car if I'll be able to remember, because I know a lot of my friends who have been driving automatic, and when they're told to go back to manual, or maybe I don't know. So the thing that I want to tell you guys about is in terms of my experience driving so far, I'm fortunate, besides the part a present car that I've been using to practice with. Sometimes batho bangwe they are like enough on dikoloi tse leng gore di teng tse ba ka di kgwetsang ko magabone. Nah, it's not really like that. My mom's car is a manual car, and she doesn't really trust anybody driving it. So this part of the story, or this part of this video, is going to be a little bit embarrassing for me, but I think that it is very, very important to note. When I'm driving school, there's only so much that they can teach you. I don't know if there's only so much that they can teach you, or there's only so much that they decide to teach you. I think they only teach you the basics. I think you have to figure it out for yourself. Like, I don't understand, as much as driving school, making I don't know why they don't teach us this. It's only until I started driving where my colleagues had to teach me what a homo. And you know how embarrassing it is. I felt like it was semi-embarrassing, but I think that they also went through the same thing. To have to be shown how the other thing, they don't teach you how the wipers are switched on. They also don't. I mean, I know that our car is probably going to be different from the car that you drive, but for the most part, in almost every car. They also don't teach you. One thing that I had to be taught after driving school, because because of the fact that I didn't really read the driving school book, is right of way. I only recently really learned how right of way works, which is a little bit embarrassing. I just never understood it, but now I get it. What's the other thing? I bet if you asked me about the different signs, I wouldn't know either. On the first day of you driving and actually getting in there and everything, it's genuinely not the same as the guy who are driving school taking you around. It's now you driving. I was so scared. I literally couldn't breathe. But now, I love it. But yeah, it's kind of scary, but eventually you get the hang of it. You just need to just be patient. You won't get what's the word? Especially where right now there are a lot of road so there's a lot of craziness that's going on. So there's a lot of craziness that's going on. So just be patient, just be cautious, don't be overly granny driving, just be normal and observe everything. Make sure, my friend, when driving with her, she'd tell me, I don't know why you're looking komorao, because the good thing about driving is that other people know how to drive. I'm not saying that drive carelessly and casually, because everybody else knows what they're doing, but for the most part, don't be crazy cautious, and don't be crazy granny driving and scared and everything, because for the most part other people also know what they're doing. So look where you're going. Don't try to look where you're going and also look where you've been, because that's not really gonna help you, because thing is also going to be vigilant in terms of where they're going, so much that they won't just ram into you because they are looking where they're going and you are in front of them. So I don't know if you guys understand what I was saying, but yeah, now I'm coming and everything, whatever. Of course, in parts where you're gonna be entering or exiting, it's important for you to really observe komarao. And this is where my part of the story comes. So in my now about 3 months of driving, I have already tulisad twice. And this is a piece of information that not everybody knows. Only like my close, like maybe 1 or 2, 3 friends know that I've already tulisad a total of 2 times. And this is because I'm telling you guys this so that you can avoid being in the same situation, because I'm here to tell you that hobankanya koloi is not cheap, and it's not nice for you money aside hobankanya koloi. So as much as you can be cautious and when going places or getting in, it's also important for you to be extremely cautious when coming out. And this is where my biggest problem is at the moment, is that when I'm coming out of Dipeki, I don't know why I'm speeding, but I'm not taking my time, I'm not whatever, and it's a lesson that I've recently really had to learn. And it's also important to note that when you're a first-time driver, you can't be perfect as well. I think now my biggest thing is that I beat myself up so much when I make little mistakes. So that has been my biggest mistake as of late, is that when I'm coming out of Dipeki, I'm not driving at 0 and looking and doing this very slowly. I'm just like and so it's not funny when it happens. When it happens, it's not funny. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, girl, this situation could have been avoided by you just being like I don't know why I'm looking at you guys, because this is what you should be doing. Like this here is the mirror, what I'm looking at, and this one, you know, that's what you need to do. And I wish somebody had told me that before, but they really can't tell you everything. Some things you just have to experience them yourself. So that's just a little piece of information in terms of what I've experienced, what I can really say about driving school, about my experience driving so far. Yeah, do that, guys. Set aside the 500 and just do that. If you can, if you have somebody that's willing to sponsor you, do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any advice that you also wish to share, for people that are going to be driving soon, or for some new drivers out there, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have any stories from now being a new driver, you can also share that in the comment or DM me as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe, babies. Thank you for watching, and good